What if you could use ChatGPT to reprogram your subconscious mind for success? Well, that's exactly what I've been doing over the last few months, and it's drastically shifted my life. What's up, guys? My name is Nico Arapkalis, and on this video, I want to walk you through how to reprogram your subconscious mind using ChatGPT, using some specific prompts that I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. But I want to explain why this even matters and how this actually applies to our Woo+Do framework that we use inside of our Authentic Influence Skool Community that has over 1,000 members at this point. So here is kind of the flow, and I've shared this on a previous video where I did a high-level overview on what it really means to go from the lonely entrepreneur hamster wheel to building out a magnetic personal brand that magnetizes you to speaking opportunities, premium clients, relationships, communities, so that you can live that life that you truly desire, be the most confident version of yourself. But it really comes down to a few different frameworks. And one of the first things that we start with is down here is the awareness, right? And the clearing blocks. So on this video, I want to walk you through what that really looks like and why would we even want to use a tool like ChatGPT or any other type of AI to help us get more awareness right here, okay? And then from there, remove subconscious blocks and clear any energetic or mental blocks, okay? And why do we start with this? Well, as I shared on the last video where I talked about this, and if you haven't seen that video, I'd strongly recommend that'll give you more context to help you understand what is really going on in this whole process, this customer journey that we have of how you can really start building out your magnetic personal brand. Why does it start right here? Because a lot of people kind of flip it and they don't start right here. They don't start with the internal world, where it's much more of the woo side, right? Woo side, then do side, where we talk a lot about more of these other things about like clarifying your brand and then starting to generate more exposure to your brand and then build relationships through content and locking it all with the system. Why do we start right here? Well, it's always going to be a customized approach, and that's what we continue to share inside of our Skool community on our live weekly calls, that it's always a customized approach. It's not ever going to be the same for everybody, and that's why we take that customized approach for anybody that jumps in and gets involved with our community. But here's the thing is that I heard this story a while back. It was actually one of my mentors that I invested a good chunk of money in, and that's why I'm constantly investing money. I mean, I've invested north of $150,000 at this point into my personal and professional development. And it was interesting because my mentor shared with me this story, okay? And basically what he told me is that he had a mentor, or a mentee, I should say, and he was helping him really scale out his business. He was getting to the point where he was making about $20,000 a month, okay? And then all of a sudden he hit this point where he was like, I think he got this opportunity to go work on this job or something that was outside of his business, making only $6,000 a month. And he started neglecting his business that was making $20,000 a month for an opportunity, a job that was making $6,000 a month. Now we look back at that and we observe that and say, that's absolutely ridiculous. Why would you do that? And we can look at that from the outside looking in because we don't have the subconscious blocks that this person had. But because he's in it, he doesn't understand the perspective of it. You can't see the label from inside the jar. He can't understand why he's doing that because he has subconscious blocks. And that is why we always start with awareness. We always start with clearing out the subconscious blocks, because if this guy, instead of just focusing on driving traffic and building his business and getting customers and all that kind of stuff that comes at the later stages of the Woo+Do process, then if he wouldn't have started with that, he wouldn't have had that pullback, right? If he would have got awareness on like what are his subconscious blocks, identify them, gain awareness on them, and then start clearing them out, and then he starts working on his business, he would have hit that $20K a month. And yes, there still would be some subconscious blocks because we always have them and they're always evolving, but it wouldn't have been that pullback down to 6K. It might have been down to like 10K or 15K or whatever it is. And he would have been able to have a stronger trajectory as opposed to like going to 20K, 6K, 20K, 4K, or whatever it was, right? And that's the whole concept behind awareness and clearing the blocks. So that's why it's really important to use tools like ChatGPT or hire coaches or read books or go to events, go to transformational events. I've been to countless events, but like one of my favorite things is hiring coaches and getting in masterminds, because you can start learning from all these other people. And especially in a coaching space or getting involved in a community that has a mentor that can actually identify these type of things, is that they can identify those things, right? Most of the time, it can be very tricky unless someone is very well versed in this space of identifying blocks. Then it's going to be really tough for anyone else to see that, because it starts to become very nuanced to seeing those blocks. But that's why we always start with that, right? And that's why we always recommend gaining massive awareness. Now, some of my favorite things in terms of gaining massive awareness that we always share with clients and community members is just being aware, more aware of your thoughts, meaning you start meditating more, you start journaling more, you get out all your emotions, you get out all your rage, your anger, right? Just get that stuff out. And what was interesting, I even learned this recently, is that someone is always getting your emotions out, the anger, the rage out, right? Or whatever those emotions, even just like an irritation, they're always getting it out in a sense, right? They're either taking it out on someone outside of themselves, or they're taking it out on themselves, right? Where it could be frustration and anger and yelling and violence even, or it could be shame and guilt. And so the more that you don't release those things in a pragmatic manner, then they're just continuing to build up, and they're continuing to build up, and they're continuing to block you from the success that you truly desire, from building that authentic personal brand that so many people want. But they can't build it because they don't understand who they truly are, which comes back more into like the vision and the values and that kind of stuff. But it's important to get aware of what's going on under the surface. That's why I always recommend, like I said, meditation, journaling, and just getting that stuff out, letting it out, expressing that, getting it out. And we have a lot of different tools inside of our Skool community. We have a weekly reflection sheet that we allow people to like really get all those emotions. And so then you can start identifying what is your blocks. Where are you showing up? Where are you not showing? And that's really important part of the process, so that you can really get those blocks out of the way and you can quit hitting that ceiling like everyone else is doing, right? And so you might be wondering, like, what are these subconscious blocks that you could utilize with ChatGPT, with AI, to expedite this process? Because it is a really powerful tool if you use it correctly. Now, I've made plenty of videos on this channel. I think I've actually made like 3 or 4 at this time, not an inordinate amount, but I'm going to continue to make these videos so that people can understand how I actually operate ChatGPT, how I operate AI, so that I can utilize it, so that I can start identifying my subconscious blocks. But one of the things, let me just come over to ChatGPT here, and I'll just show you. And what I like, even before I dive into this, let me just explain this real quick. I think one of the most powerful things and how you can at this point is, one, I feed it as much data as I possibly can, meaning I just share as much as I possibly can. I have as many conversations with AI as much as I possibly can. Again, I really went into depth on this on the last few videos that I made last week or a couple weeks ago. And especially you can see right here is the voice mode. You can just keep on talking to it. And the reason that this is powerful is because one of the ways that you can gain massive awareness on what your subconscious blocks are is your language patterns. You'll probably be saying things that you don't even realize. You say things like, oh, I need to do this, or yeah, that's really hard. And that's showing you that you have certain subconscious blocks just based on your language patterns that you may not be aware of. And that's why, again, I come back to this sheet and I say awareness is the first step, because you might not be aware, okay? The first thing that you have to do is, because you have to take the stuff that you're unaware of and make yourself aware of it, meaning you have to take the stuff that is unconscious and turn it conscious. Otherwise, you'll just label it as fate. I think there's a famous quote that was the premise of it, right? So become massively aware of what's going on. And again, that's why I recommend like hiring a coach, because they can recognize language patterns. Or you can just continue to start talking to AI and use this voice feature, because the more that you talk to it unfiltered, it's going to start being able to identify those things. So what I'm getting at is just feed it as much data as you possibly can, okay? Feed it as much data as you possibly can, and you're going to start to understand this stuff, because the next step is you just simply tell it, I want you to take on this identity. I want you to take the identity of Peter Crone. That's one I usually go with, is because he is so tapped in on a subconscious level. So I would just say like, hey, I want you to, on the identity of Peter Crone, actually I think it's a CRON, and I want you to tell me what my subconscious blocks are. And what's so cool about AI, like I misspelled something there, I'm not even going to worry about it. So I hit enter and it's going to show me exactly what my blocks. And it's going to show me, boom, block number 1, I need to prove my worth through my results. Block number 2, success requires struggle. Block number 3, if I'm not doing it all, I'm failing. Block number 4, I am the brand. Block number 5, I need to fix myself to succeed. And then it goes into more like core subconscious fear, Peter Crone's invitation to you. So it's so powerful to just, because I have all this data that I fed it, and then I give it an identity, and then I just simply ask it the question, it's going to give me more and more answers. And I would dive deeper into that. And again, that's what I've done on previous videos. So again, I strongly recommend that you do that. Go look at those videos and then ask me questions down in the comments and let me know what you guys want to hear next. But this is really powerful. And again, this is just the first step of the whole Woo+Do process. You know, again, coming back here, this is the awareness. So that's the awareness part. And then it's actually clearing the blocks. So what I would do next is simply I'd come back here and be like, okay, I want to remove these blocks. Remove these blocks. Tell me my next steps to do over the next 90 days. And then boom, it'll give me,
here's your 90-day roadmap to dissolve those subconscious blocks and
so boom, it gives me a daily practice, and on phase 2, and it's just so cool. And like the better that you prompt AI, the better that you use that, is that you can actually remove those blocks. Now, obviously, there's a lot more advanced stuff, and ChatGPT, and it's growing and developing. But the more that you ask it questions like this, and the more that you give it information, the more you prompt it, the more you ask it to prompt you as well, is really powerful. So utilize all of that. And again, this is just the first step. Okay. This is just the first step, and this is the first really video of we're doing this like mini course here on the YouTube channel to really break down the whole process of going from lonely entrepreneur hamster wheel to magnetic personal brand. And that's again what we take everybody through inside of our Skool Community, inside of our Vision Accelerator coaching program. If you want a more customized solution for you, where we keep you accountable to all of this, it's pretty cool. So that's the gist of it. Thank you for watching this video. Again, make sure and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out our Skool Community. It has over 1,000 members in it. And, really plug into all these videos that we're going to continue to create, because they're going to go in sequence. They're going to go in order, and it's going to make sense in this mini course that we have for you here on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys. Nico Rapcliffe. Hit me up on Instagram if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.